question for you. What do you get the lady who has everything she wants? I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about my lovely mum. She has a special birthday coming up. What a ridiculous phrase. Every birthday's special. And so obviously, she was being very modest and she doesn't have any sort of wish list, no great desires, no big gifts. So that was the challenge. Let's get creative and see what could we get for somebody who's being particularly modest. Anyone who knows my mum will know she's a very keen gardener, and she actually has a very well established garden. It's absolutely stunning. I'll see if I can sneak out and share some pics with you. And she's very attached to her plants. It's been really, really lovely spending time at home recently, and just kind of spending time with someone who's a really keen gardener. A lot of these people put so much love and thought into what they're doing, and a lot of memories. So that sparked an idea, and the reason I'm telling you all about it is it's kind of twofold. One, I just want to show off about what a pretty good job I did. And two, I wanted to share the idea of, sort of plants and just thinking outside the box when it comes to buying gifts for your loved ones. I know sometimes we can leave things to the last minute and it's tricky to buy for some people, but if we just kind of plan ahead in advance, I think it's just the small things that can be really nice gestures. Ultimately, I think really, if you're looking to do something for someone you care about, it's really just showing them that you've thought about them. So it doesn't have to be a huge expensive gesture. Just the idea that you've, thought about something that is relevant to them or means something to them. Maybe you're sharing, you're going to buy them a copy of your favorite book, or, just something that's sort of sharing your worlds. And like I say, just to show that you've been thinking about them can be really lovely. So let me tell you a little bit more about this fabulous collection. As you can see, there's quite a few plants here. And actually what makes these all unique and will hopefully make them special to my mum is that each and every single one of them are named after members of my family. So, I mean, as you can see from the quantity of plants here, you're probably getting the idea that there's quite a few of us. So I won't go through every single one, mainly because there isn't a hope in hell I can pronounce all the names. And also just, sure, obviously it might not be everybody's cup of tea. But for example, this is one of the challenging ones here. So this is the Farah tea rose. I think it's a hybrid tea rose bush. So that's my sister-in-law, my lovely sister-in-law Farah. And then somewhat more modestly, with a little helenium, I think it's pronounced. So this is going to represent my sister Helen. Amusingly, she chose it herself because it's actually better known as a sneezeweed. So there we go, very modest. And here we go. I want to show you this one because I was never familiar with the plant until recently. And this is actually what sparked the whole idea. So this is a hosta. They're really stunning. They're quite simple. They're predominantly just these lovely kind of leaves. They come in like thousands of different varieties, and they've got quite a sort of Mediterranean look to them, but they're really hardy. Like, you can almost see the leaves are quite sort of solid. They feel like they could almost be an indoor plant, but they're not. And my mum's got quite a handy little collection of them already that she keeps outside in little pots. But this one's actually called Hosta June. And June is in fact my mum's first name. And she mentioned to me, because like I said, she's a huge fan of the plant, and she'd seen an article that this variety, the Hosta June, was available, and she was interested in getting hold of one for herself. So I then thought, aha! Well, if there's such a thing as a Hosta June, I wonder if there's such a thing as a Hosta Sarah, and so on and so forth. So thereabouts began my journey into looking for lots of different plants. And for anybody who's considering doing something similar, if you wanted to make your own little family garden, my top tip would be, I found a website called the RHS Flower Database. And actually what I did there was I just typed in everybody's first name. So we've got a Gillian, an Andrew, a Helen, a Martin, typed them all in. And then it came up with a list of varieties of different plants. And then also really helpfully came up with a list of suppliers as well, which was fantastic. Really helpful. Sadly though, I don't know if you can see, but one of the plants that looks like it's struggling a bit, because unfortunately these plants have all been subject to my care, and I've been trying to kind of do this covertly and hide it away from Mum. So they've been up in my garden, and I've been sort of trying to position them as close to the window to get them a bit of sunlight. But this one's actually me. I'm a hardy fuchsia, supposedly, a Delta Sarah. And God, he seems to be a bit of a nightmare, this plant. Doesn't seem like whatever I seem to do, it looks a little bit sorry for itself at the moment. So fingers crossed it will survive till the big day. But yeah, what's been really fun, as you can imagine, so here we've got, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, but this is to represent Sasha, my little nephew. Some really different plant varieties that Mum might not be aware of. Also, just to note, like a lot of these plants might look a little bit underwhelming at the moment. So this one here, again, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. But this is for Amber, my little niece. And like I say, I mean, it doesn't look an awful lot at the moment, but when it flowers, they're absolutely stunning, almost sort of honeysuckle-esque flowers. And again, just to note as well, if you're thinking of doing this, I specifically have tried to go for perennials, annuals, so that these flowers will come back year after year, hopefully, if they establish themselves. So yeah, like, for somebody like my mum, who spends a huge amount of time in the garden, just the idea of her sort of pottering around, and then just knowing that we're all there in the garden there, a little reminder of us all. So yeah, just wanted to share this idea, like I say, so you can all tell me how fantastically thoughtful I am, but also, just to encourage you all maybe, to think outside the box for a gift in terms of sort of sustainability. Look at all those lovely leaves that's going out in the garden, so that's obviously fantastic for the environment. A good number of these plants, like this one here, which is for my teeny tiny nephew George, they're all pollinators, so that's really big at the moment. We're trying to get all the butterflies and the bees back into the garden. So all in all, a very considerate gift. Well done me. Oh, and actually as well, just finally, I also made, because I've been watching a little bit of Gardener's World with Mum, this is garlic wash, and the idea with that is that you can use it to sprinkle on the hostas, and it deters the slugs, because there's nothing worse than having all these gorgeous plants and then those little buggers coming in and chomping their way through the leaves and spoiling everything. And just to note that I made the label myself, and this is an old Purdy's, I think it is, bottle, the fizzy drink. So there you go, I've upcycled a bottle there as well. What I will say is, obviously I am an enormous geek, and I've had a lot of time on my hands. So you can see, like, I actually repurposed the crate that they're in it's an old fruit box. So I painted that up, and again, even a lot of the flowers actually came mail order. So I saved the cardboard boxes there, and I've repurposed them. And then what I've done as well is I've made these cute little labels, because like I said, I'm an enormous nerd. And I think it's nice, isn't it, like, just to have that little extra touch. So what I can do, if anybody's interested in doing a similar thing themselves, I can try and share those labels for you so that you can make your own version. It's not necessary though, because as you can see, like, pretty much every plant will come with its own little descriptor anyway. And I think, the minute the gift recipient sees the name, they'll know exactly what you've been up to. But But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go that extra mile, like I say, I can always make these labels available to anybody if you just want to reach out. And yeah, any questions, any thoughts, any feedback? Yeah, I'd love to hear. Or, you know, why don't you have a look and see what plant represents you? Could be something really exciting. Just on an amusing note, I've got a lot of interesting names in my family. And one of them, which I really, really struggled with, was Lyosha, my little nephew. And unfortunately for Lyosha, or fortunately, depending on how he sees it, he's had to be a little sort of pickle cucumber. So there you go. Well, that works for my mum because she loves to grow vegetables. And so I'll be interested to see how they turn out. But yeah, why not, you know? Like it's all good. We need fruit and vegetables. Grow your own. It's a big thing. So yeah, Lyosha, the pickle cucumber. So that's it. I hope this inspires you to kind of get out there, get down to your local nursery, have a little poke around, see what you can find. Or like I said, my top tip is the RHS plant finder database. I'll share the link below for anyone who's interested. And yeah, happy hunting, happy gardening.